Guess we'll try this mic one more time. For the longest time, I had been dreading the day I came up here to give this speech. I feared getting emotional and crying, which I guess I already failed at. I feared forgetting what to say, but most importantly, I feared this day knowing it would be one of the last times I stood among all of you as a cadet, a peer, and a high school student. Knowing that just in a few days, a place I have called home for the past 4 years will no longer be a place I call home, but rather a place of the past, a place of memories. I guess if I'm being honest, I would be lying if I said I wasn't fearing any of these things anymore. But who says you can't fight fear? I am honestly terrified, mentally, physically, and emotionally terrified. But fear is, I guess, who says you can't let fear run? Who says you have to let fear run your lives, rather than your lives conquering and living your dream? Fear is a noun, meaning an unpleasant emotion caused by a belief that someone or something is dangerous. But what many fail to remember is that fear is only a belief and an emotion. It is one person's own conditioned response which makes them uncomfortable. Whether it be a fear of heights, insects, public speaking, or a number of other things, any one person can have a fear of anything due to the fact that it is a conditioned response, meaning it isn't something they can necessarily control. Everyone has a fear at some point in their lives. 4 years ago, before joining this JROTC program, I feared being in a powerful leadership role, telling others what they can and can't do, as well as taking control, and standing in front of a group or class giving a presentation were fears of mine. 15-year-old me would never be able to stand in front of a group of 200 plus people and give a speech like I am now. But over time I branched out. I strived to conquer those fears. I pushed myself past my normal day-to-day limits, and slowly in time, those fears that hovered and lingered over my head dwindled away. They slowly became a thing of the past. Before I began high school in 2015, I never considered joining ROTC. I knew very little about it, but from the start, I didn't like the idea of it. It was my parents that pushed me to go to an informational meeting and give it a try. I remember sitting at the dinner table crying to them, saying I didn't want to join. Yes, I was that kid who cried because they didn't want to do something. But I was also that kid who went to the informational meeting, the kid who decided to branch out and try something new. Little did I know, those few steps out of my comfort zone would later be moments that changed my life forever. From freshman year to now, the things that held me back drastically changed. Changed in both the aspects of physical and mental setbacks. Going into high school, I didn't really know many people. All the friends I grew up with through elementary school and middle school went their separate ways. For that matter, we all did. We all had different classes and completely opposite schedules. We hardly ever saw each other. Not only did I lose some of my closest friends, I joined a class not knowing a single person. It was as if I moved schools and was starting fresh. I feel like that's the feeling most students and cadets have walking into the doors of high school for the first time. It is a time of significant change. For most freshmen, it is a time of adjustments. Adjustments of the aspect of major mind-blowing alterations from the middle school to high school, and just figuring oneself out in that drastic time of change. It was definitely a struggle for some, and I was more than among this group. The group of students and cadets has struggled to figure out where they belong, how to handle these adjustments, and much more. For those of you that do know me, I'm sure you can tell I'm not very good with change, but that's okay. That doesn't mean I don't cope with it, and that doesn't mean I don't later on accept it. I was the vice president of student council my freshman year, as well as in beta club and mission support of ROTC, not to mention also in the marching band. I went from a quiet, shy, and reserved person to one of confidence with an outgoing personality. This is all because I decided to take one step out of my safe bubble and my comfort zone. Freshman year was a major learning experience that gave me the feeling of maturity and time to figure myself and my life out. I will not sugarcoat it. As much as I loved freshman year, there were aspects of it that weren't so pleasant. I didn't have that supportive group of friends, and I would try and be friends with whoever I could, even if I knew they weren't the best people. That group of people I associated myself with back then is a group I will never go back to. I'd made mistakes thinking they were true friends, and looking back, they weren't anything a true friend should be. But I learned from that. I learned right from wrong, and that it's okay to make mistakes. Rather than keep myself down about the mistakes I made, I rose up, removed myself from the conflict, and made the best out of my life. I kept telling myself that mistakes are only mistakes if you don't learn from them. And believe me when I say, I very much did learn from them. And if there's one thing I can emphasize, if you make a mistake, accept it, learn from it, and move on. The people who ponder their mistakes and don't learn from them are bound to make that mistake again. Prove to others and yourself that you are stronger than you think you are. As high school progressed, I continued to push myself more so out of my comfort zone. I eventually gave up marching band and band as a whole for ROTC, and this became my major priority. I developed such a passion for this corps, and to this day, it holds a very special place in my heart. My sophomore year, I once again ran for a staff position first and second semester. Running for positions was never something I imagined myself doing voluntarily, but yet there was a feeling of self-confidence in holding a position. It was a feeling I began to take great pride in. Through the year, my friend group began to change. I met new people, lost some people, met some others, became very close, then we drifted apart. But most importantly, I found that true group of friends which I lacked prior. If there was one thing I taught myself sophomore year, it was to be honest. Be honest to yourself, and don't be afraid to admit the truth. Because if you can't admit the truth to yourself, how are you supposed to admit to others how you feel? Keeping things in and not speaking your mind can do more harm than good sometimes. Trust yourself. Be afraid of what you do. Don't be afraid of what you do know. Be afraid of what may happen if you aren't honest to others about the things you do know. Let me be completely honest here. The person who sits ahead of me today, Caleb Huang, and I butt heads quite often, especially when it comes to this corps. But from the moment we met each other, we both had that competitive demeanor towards and against each other. From applying for the same job second semester of sophomore year, or him getting color guard performances I was hoping I'd get chosen for, to applying for the same commanding job junior year. It was a constant battle. If I'm being honest, it still is. We are constantly trying to one-up each other. We both knew we were each other's competition for everything. And I will not lie, when it came time to write and deliver these speeches, we were both going back and forth about our speeches, trying to outdo each other without even knowing what one is writing about. The first semester staff results came out for our junior year, and he was awarded the color guard position, which was the position the two of us were competing for. Seeing those results greatly disappointed me. I had felt as if I let myself and failed myself. I felt as if I wasn't good enough, but at the same time I was thankful. I was thankful for being one of 4 commanders. I was chosen to command and lead the unarmed drill regulation team, which Grant was talking about earlier. This was definitely a learning experience. I accepted the fact that I did not get the position I wanted, but that's okay. Not everything will go your way in life, but that doesn't mean you turn around and give up. I was thankful for what I had, and as the year progressed, many things were trial and error, but no one ever said there was anything wrong with that. I had never commanded anything before, yet alone a group of cadets. How are you supposed to better yourself if you don't learn from your failures? What everyone should remember is the fact that you are not defined by your failures. You are defined by what you make of your failures. This is a lesson I have kept with myself for the longest time and something I will keep with myself forever. About halfway to 3/4 into my junior year, it was a time of just proving ourselves and competition. From the day I met you, it was nothing but pure competition. Don't get me wrong, there were days I wish there wasn't as much competition, but truth be told, I wouldn't have it any other way. Be friends with your competition. This way you can both stick together and laugh about how ridiculous things are later on. It was about to be our senior year, Caleb and I were the 2 candidates for Corps Commander for the next year. We both knew it was between us, and weeks upon weeks ahead of time were spent trying to prove ourselves more worthy than each other. Through all, we remained best friends and became closer than ever. No one said competition was a bad thing. In fact, it was a very good thing. You want to surround yourself with people who are up to your level of work ethic, if not higher. You want to be friends with people who are similar than you. When it came time for the awards banquet later that year, the entire night I was on the edge of my seat in fear that all I had worked for the past 3 years would not have paid off. But at the same time, I knew if I didn't get the position, it would be in the best hands it could be. When my name was called for the Distinguished Cadet Award last year, I was shocked to think it was me. But within 30 seconds of hearing my name called, reality set in. I was beyond happy to earn the award, but I couldn't help but feel sorry for the person who didn't get it. That person was the same person who applied for the same job as me 2 years ago, and the same person that earned the commanding position over me. But that same person is also my best friend, the person who stayed with me through the good and bad, the friend who forgave me for my wrongdoings and competitive nature. Just because you may or may not get something you work for doesn't mean it's the end of the world. Take it as an opportunity for growth, that there is always room for improvement and learning. You can't bring yourself down because things didn't go the way you wanted. Take it, learn from it, and improve upon it. There are plenty of other opportunities within the life you have ahead of you. Since I was a freshman, I told senior year would fly by. I never believed it until pretty much standing here just now. It feels like yesterday it was my first day of senior year, and in now 2 weeks, I'll be walking up to get my diploma. To think about it sends chills down my entire spine. I know the life I have known for the past 18 years is going to change in the shortest time. That the place I have called home is no longer a place I can call home. All the memories I have made, which each of the cadets that sit before me will only be memories, and not something I see or experience on a daily basis. This year I learned that it doesn't matter if you are liked by everyone, each and every one of your peers. That as long as you have those few close friends that support you through every step, it's all one could ever ask for. Colonel, thank you so much for always believing in me and giving me a reason to push myself. Thank you for coming into this program, as chaotic and frustrating as it may be sometimes, and putting forth effort to change and improve it. Thank you for showing me that I am capable of everything I set my mind to, for giving me countless opportunities to develop my leadership experience and allowing me to be the cadet I am today. Sergeant, thank you for coming into this program this year and shaping it to, helping shape it to where it is today. Thank you for caring about me not only as a person, but as a cadet. Thank you for checking on me in times I was not okay. Thank you for adding life and excitement to your classes with your daily trivia. To all the cadets that sit before me, my family, GA 935, thank you for never giving up on me. Thank you for giving me a reason to push myself beyond my limits. Thank you for allowing me to lead you the past 4 years in one way or another. Thank you for making these past 4 years the best in my entire life. To all my flight, Alpha Flight, you guys, I love you more than you will ever understand. To see your growth from the beginning of the year to now is truly incredible. Each and every one of you holds a special place in my heart. Never stop pushing yourselves because you can accomplish anything you set your mind to. Thank you for being the most amazing group of cadets who never gave up. To my fellow seniors, thank you for making the past 4 years incredible, for making class and memories fun. Thank you for the laughs and the memories. To my best friend, my right arm, my partner in crime, Caleb, you were the main reason I got through this year. Thank you for always standing by with me to laugh with me on my good days and pick me up on my bad days. Thank you for giving me countless memories, for always sticking by my side no matter how crazy I drive you. Thank you for being my best friend, and I can't wait to see where you go with your future, because I know you are going to accomplish truly amazing things. To my grandmother, thank you for being there and supporting me since the very beginning. Thank you for always sitting down with me to play card game on top of card game, even when you didn't want to. Thank you for encouraging me and never letting me give up. To my sister, thank you for sticking by my side every day, for laughing at me when I make a mistake or did something stupid, and just for being there for me when I needed a shoulder to cry on. Thank you for being such an inspiration and the person I strive to be. Thank you for showing me that I can do anything. And don't worry, I'll only be 45 minutes away, so don't miss me too much. To my parents, the people who raised me from this little infant 18 years ago and guided me to the person I am today. Thank you for always pushing me, whether it be to try new foods or join a class I was so against. Thank you for never giving up on me and convincing me that I can do anything. Words cannot describe how thankful I am to have both of you as my parents. In closing, as Roy T. Bennett once said, believe in yourself because you are braver than you think, more talented than you know, and capable of more than you can imagine. Thank you.
Follow that up.
I don't know. I do not know what I should tell you all right now. What words could soothe over the pain that I have and the realization that this will be the last time that I will stand in front of many of you all. I don't know what the future holds, what challenges will come, what joys and excitement are just over the horizon. So let's go over the past together. You all have been more than friends to me. We've marched in the heat together. We've ran in the rain together. In the past 3 years I've been here, we have laughed, cried, sang, danced, gone in and out of trouble, you've all done it, and become state champions. But more importantly, we did it all together. To those of you that have had the utmost pleasure of calling peers, thank you for your companionship and your ever-constant friendship. To those in Echo Flight this year, I cannot thank you enough for all that you have taught me about humility and the necessity for patience and thick skin. Love you too. To the ones I have called son, and you know who you are. You may be proud beyond compare. I thank God every day that such men exist in my world. To Colonel Kim, who supported me from day one, who worked tirelessly to make this program something we can all be a part of, who is a second father figure to all of us. I not thank you enough for helping me become the leader I am today. To Sergeant Evans, I only had the fortune of spending but a short time with you. But in the short months that you have graced our Corps, I believe I speak for everyone when I say that you've transformed this Corps. It is something we can all be proud of. To my parents, aunts and uncles, grandparents and siblings, to the ones that have been my greatest support all these years, I cannot express in words, not out of lack of inspiration, but of lack of words' ability to fully comprehend all that they have done for me. I shudder to think what I'd be without you all. There's very few things in this life that we'll be able to control. The only thing we have control in our lives is our attitudes, our words, and those that we give our love to. As you prepare to enter into this unforgiving world, trust sparingly, love wholeheartedly, and pray unceasingly. As my final hours with you are drawing ever closer, our final goodbye almost upon us, and the sun about set on my day among you all, I believe it is time I told you all the truth. When I first walked into the room 502, almost 3 years ago, I strived to be the most decorated cadet. Coming from a background of 5 years of Boy Scouts, awards, badges, and ribbons were all that fueled my ambitions. Tonight, however, I finally discovered the greatest honor I could ever earn. It's not the ribbons on our chest. I have over 20 of them. At none of them, I can pinpoint the moment that I feel like I earned them. The hours I spent in place of color guard, the long nights putting into all my crazy ideas, the amount of polish I put into my shoes is beyond me. But none of them compare to this honor. Raider, my brainchild and my greatest effort I ever poured myself into. I can take no credit for what the program is today. There are other cadets that deserve that honor more than I do. My sophomore year saw Raiders struggle to survive against an administration that scoffed at the very idea of it. Today, it is what our Corps is known for statewide. Yet, no matter how great this program becomes, it cannot compare to this honor that I discovered tonight. Silver Wings, 3 months, 10 weeks, 52 hours, 30,000 feet above the earth. The amount of time I spent earning these wings. Be one of 120 cadets worldwide to be selected to fly was one of the proudest moments I've ever felt. I met some of the best and worst people while at Auburn, but I'm glad to say that I'll be returning with the best of them to Auburn in the fall. Yet, no matter how many TV interviews I got over the summer, none of them compared to this honor. Service before self. The honor of the Kitty Hawk Honor Society is one that we've just realized in our Corps. The cadets in the future will never have to realize what sad beginnings it rose from. But, no matter how great this honor is, they can never feel the same pride that I feel tonight. Red and silver, the colors of my office as Corps Commander. I titled that to me and my best friend. We have traded off this year. A title given to the top cadet every year. But I feel out of all the trinkets and flashy things I wear, I deserve this one the least of them. For this Corps is not an honor that is given because of how hard we work. It is responsibility. A responsibility and privilege that comes with rank and prestige and an end date. My time has come. It is now time for the next commander to take their place in the spotlight. That leaves me with this, my name tag. The only thing I came into this Corps the only thing that will leave with me. This, my friends, is the greatest honor I could ever hope of receiving. You see, honor is not something that can be earned. Respect can be earned. Money can be earned. Honor has to be given. There's nothing in your own power that you can do to get honor, unless someone else is willing to give it to you. And all you have been my honor. It's been an honor to be your color guard commander. It's been an honor to be your corps commander. Above all, it's been my utmost honor to be your friend. Before I say my final goodbye to you all, I'd like my family to please stand up. You can now sit down. Our Corps has always prided itself on the family atmosphere we so preciously cultivate. A family we're willing to stand up for each other, pick on one another, make fun of, laugh at, most importantly, pick each other out at the end of the day. We will fight to the ends of the earth to make sure no one ever picks on our own. And we have done that before, and we'll do it into the future. We are what our forefathers dreamed of, men and women of every race, origin, tribe, tongue, united in a common goal, to develop citizens of character and citizenship. When my father, 4 years ago, swore to become a citizen, the judge said something that will forever be ingrained in my mind, that any blood you spill from here on out will be American blood. So I do not care if you're from the mountains of Argentina, the deserts of Saudi Arabia, the frozen tundra of Russia, or a small town on the Great Plains. If you bleed American blood, if you're willing to stand for justice, liberty, and freedom, then you are my brother, my sister, my family. So I'd like to ask you all again, will my family please stand up? Thank you, and God bless.
All right.
You thank. So, we did our best to hide these, but I doubt you guys probably found out about them.
Adria, what'd you get?
You're not done yet. So, as many of you guys all know, Colonel and Sergeant have been our greatest inspirations this year. So, to make sure they never forget us, we've made them a very large picture of our Corps, as well as gift cards to said location that cannot be disclosed at this point in time. Jim. Sergeant Evans, you also get a lovely gift card and very large picture that we are going to hang in your office, whether you like it or not. And also, I left the gift card on this location. It may or may not be in the middle of, I don't know, frozen tundra, North Pole. So, a small token of the large impact you've left on all of our lives. To cadets of the GA 935, I wish to give this to you.
At this time, Colonel, will you please come up and closing remarks?
Yeah, thank you very much for those gifts. Those are absolutely awesome. Well, this concludes tonight's award ceremony. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. Thank you for coming and joining us as a family, like Caleb said, to not only recognize all the hard work and dedication, but to truly celebrate. I apologize that we went long. I apologize for the seating situation and food situation, but you guys have been awesome tonight. I'm looking forward to many more years with the excellence that's in this room, and I just can't express enough how extremely proud I am of all our cadets, especially our seniors who are going to be leaving us and doing great things and representing us well and do great things for the country, for our nation, for our community. I just can't tell you how proud I am of you all. So please drive safe, Again, I apologize for going late, and thank you again for attending.